This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather and Connie Chung.
Good evening. Connie's on assignment. North Korea appeared to blink today in the long-standing confrontation over its nuclear weapons program. President Clinton announced late this afternoon that North Korea is officially agreeing to freeze its nuclear program and to let international inspectors verify compliance. CBS News White House correspondent Rita Braver has the very latest.
After weeks of tension, President Clinton today announced a major breakthrough. North Korea will freeze its nuclear program and join the U.S. in a new round of talks.
North Korea has assured us that while we go forward with these talks, it will not reload its 5-megawatt reactor with new fuel or reprocess spent fuel. We have also been assured that the IAEA will be allowed to keep its inspectors and monitoring equipment in place at the Yongbyon nuclear facility, thus allowing verification of North Korea's agreement.
President Clinton credited former President Jimmy Carter's meeting with North Korean President Kim Il-sung for ending the stalemate. While some aides were gloating that the administration won everything it wanted from North Korea, President Clinton played it low-key.
I don't think it's useful to characterize this in terms of winners and losers. I think the world will be the winner if we can resolve this, but we've not done it yet.
The president dodged the issue of whether the North Koreans will disclose whether or not they really have the bomb already. However, he did insist that the U.S. made no compromises to reach this agreement. However, it does mean that the administration will stop pushing for economic sanctions against North Korea, at least for now, Dan.
Thanks, Rita. At the White House. In Los Angeles, attorneys for the people, the prosecutors, today cleared up one of the mysteries of the O.J. Simpson double murder case. It turns out that one of the most widely reported pieces of evidence never existed, or if it does exist, the district attorney's office knows nothing about it. Meanwhile, the evidence the police and the prosecution want most is still nowhere to be found. Our coverage begins with correspondent Bill Whitaker in Los Angeles.
O.J. Simpson was back in court today, this time to get all the prosecution's evidence. His attorney, Robert Shapiro, asked prosecutors why the most damning evidence he'd seen in the press wasn't on their list, especially the much-talked-about blood-stained ski mask.
And if there is a ski mask with blood stains, we would like to be able to examine that today.
If it is not in what has been produced to him, then we do not have anything like that.
So are you saying that there is no ski mask?
There is no ski mask.
Okay.
It was an apparent defense attempt to tone down the wild speculation. Simpson sat without emotion through it all. During a break, he declined a bailiff's offer to take him to a holding pen away from the camera, saying, "I'll do anything to stay out of that cell." But for once, the news for Simpson wasn't all bad. His house guest, the night of the murder, actor Kato Kaelin, reportedly says his grand jury testimony did not contradict Simpson.
He has not told anyone in law enforcement that Mr. Simpson was not at home at 11 o'clock when the limo arrived.
And in Chicago, police called off their search of this wooded lot for the suspected murder weapon.
Leave without the weapon?
Well, certainly. I mean, I'm not going to make any bones about that. Certainly, I didn't leave with what I really wanted.
But there was more damaging information, too. Reports that last October, police were called to Nicole Simpson's house after O.J. Simpson kicked in the door. And a still unreleased coroner's report is said to reveal the murder victims were savagely attacked, their throats slashed. Simpson's attorney reviewed photos, tissue, and blood samples at the coroner's office this afternoon. One more sign of Simpson's long fall. Makers of this educational film on ethics called For Goodness Sake hurriedly edited Simpson out.
But I'm going to try this one, spreading an unsubstantiated rumor.
Producers thought he detracted from its message on morality. Bill Whitaker, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And while investigators try to piece together the Sunday night slayings of Nicole Simpson and Ronald Goldman, we can report to you more tonight about Friday's dramatic arrest of the alleged killer in Brentwood. Members of the Los Angeles Police SWAT team told their story to CBS News correspondent John Blackstone.
Back up a little bit. The guy's got a gun.
In this TV drama broadcast live, the SWAT team was working without a script. 22 SWAT team members arrived at Simpson's house only 10 minutes before the Bronco pulled in.
It was absolute chaos because the noise was deafening. There was the helicopters that were low, and there were many of them. They had the sirens of the escort that came into the driveway, and then out of nowhere you have his son that now becomes part of the scenario. And who could have forecasted a situation like this.
The SWAT team knew their subject had two choices other than surrender, come out shooting or commit suicide. That situation isn't unusual for the SWAT team, but the celebrity of the man with the gun added unique pressure this time.
This is a pressure-packed time. This is when we really have to get control of this if we hope to successfully keep Mr. Simpson from hurting himself, if that was his intention. He is now basically trapped. I have to believe that a very large sense of hopelessness comes in.
Peter Wireeater, a 12-year veteran on the SWAT team, was given the job of talking to Simpson. At first, that meant shouting to the car from the front door.
And the three officers standing there with no protection in front of them.
It may appear that he was exposed, but he was covered and well protected.
I trusted my teammates to protect me throughout the entire ordeal.
Al Cowlings, the driver, presented the first challenge.
Mr. Cowlings was in such an agitated state. He'd been through quite an ordeal, too. And I believe he was attempting to hang on to his friend and trying to help his friend. But in fact, there was times when he was interfering as well as attempting to possibly help us.
Cowlings helped most when he carried a cell phone with a fresh battery back to Simpson.
When did you know that you were going to get that peaceful resolution?
I believe halfway through the conversation, or somewhere close to that, I informed Sergeant Albee, said, it sounds very positive. We talked for a while, voice to voice, from the doorway to the car. And Mr. Simpson, after what appeared to be some hedging back and forth, finally came out of the vehicle.
It was an intense 50 minutes, I can tell you that.
And when it was all over, the SWAT team members, like millions across the country, breathed a sigh of relief. John Blackstone, CBS News, Los Angeles.
CBS News' independent polling operation has done some polling about the Simpson case, and here's some of the result. 9 out of 10 Americans say they have been following the story closely. Ironically, 7 out of 10 say the case is getting too much coverage. Even so, more than half of those surveyed believe Simpson can get a fair trial. About wife abuse, most Americans consider it a very serious problem. Most also say the police usually treat domestic violence as just a family matter. The Simpson case is focusing new attention on the issue of domestic violence and battered women, and women's groups are seizing the opportunity to call for new protection from the law. We have that part of the story tonight from correspondent Linda Douglas.
Women's rights activists rallied on Capitol Hill today, demanding that Congress act now to strengthen laws against domestic violence. It was a political opportunity sparked by tragedy, the murder of Nicole Simpson.
She was a battered wife of a big sports hero, and we know that the system failed both of them.
The Simpson case may trigger a political chain reaction around the country, focusing sudden attention on the estimated 2 to 4 million domestic beatings that take place every year. This week, New York's legislature agreed to pass a law that would force police to arrest suspected batterers. In 37 states, a battered spouse must first make a complaint against her assailant. Betty, like many victims, was afraid to complain.
He was threatening me. He was punching me about the temples constantly. I was getting beaten anywhere between 3 to 4 times a week.
But experts say police often don't see domestic violence as a crime.
They treat the incident as a private matter, as a domestic dispute.
Activists are demanding passage of federal domestic violence legislation, which is now snagged in congressional negotiations over the crime bill. The law would fund a national hotline and allocate tens of millions of dollars for counseling and shelters.
There are certainly fewer battered women's shelters than there are indeed in this country animal shelters.
Several states are now scrambling to speed up action on domestic violence legislation. Women's groups say Nicole Simpson's death may showcase this issue, much as Anita Hill's charges raised consciousness about sexual harassment. Linda Douglas, CBS News, Washington.
And straight ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, to shoot or not to shoot, key question as military planes hunt drug dealers in the sky. Also, Eye on America. Tonight, babies behind bars. Can they help mothers kick the crime habit?
It's a 270 horsepower private jet and a quiet cabin in the woods. It has split-second reflexes and a leather-trimmed decompression chamber. The Seville SLS lets you handle it all for $499 a month for 24 months with $2,200 down. The Seville SLS with the North Star system. Available exclusively at your Cadillac dealer. Creating a higher standard.
You like food. You get heartburn. You take Maalox. Life is good.
Tears of pain, tears of joy. But when your eyes are dry, soothe them with the tears of Murine. Closer to your own tears than other leading eye drops or artificial tears. Murine, natural tears formula.
The new president-elect of Colombia was forced to defend himself today against accusations that his campaign may have taken money from a drug cartel. President-elect Ernesto Samper denied knowledge of any payoffs. His opponent had come up with taped telephone conversations in which leaders of the Cali cartel allegedly discussed a multi-million-dollar payment to Samper's backers. President Clinton is backing a new change in policy, what the White House calls an aggressive new policy, to help Colombia and its neighbors fight the drug trade. This would put U.S. military technology to work in an air war against drug traffickers. Correspondent Jim Stewart reports on the battle plan and the risks.
U.S. early warning radar planes may soon be cooperating with Peruvian and Colombian air forces in the shoot-down of civilian planes suspected of drug smuggling. The plan, which reached Congress today, marks a radical shift not only in U.S. drug policy, but in the sanctity of civilian aircraft as well.
The change we're proposing recognizes the extreme narcotics situation faced by the governments of Colombia and Peru, while insisting on procedures to ensure the protection of innocent aircraft.
The White House wants promises South American fighters will first check out the targets. That would include verbal warnings, visual identification, and warning shots. But the new drug war offensive has dismayed aviation security analysts.
Under international law, we have been the staunchest supporter of protecting civil aviation. And now we're the people who are leading the way toward allowing the shooting down of civilian airplanes.
Smugglers who escape the South American dragnet and make it here would still be just followed and not fired on. But what seems far less than certain is how the U.S. military, which is prone to cases of mistaken identity, can keep from making another one over the crowded skies of South America.
We shot down an Airbus by mistake. The Israelis have shot down a Libyan airliner by mistake. The Russians shot down KAL 007 by mistake. And you don't have to have too many of those to wonder whether or not 500 drug trafficking airplanes are worth it.
It's another crime-fighting plan that looks good on paper, many in the military believe, but carries far too many risks. Jim Stewart, CBS News, Washington.
Federal Reserve Chairman Alan Greenspan expressed concern today about the plunge of the dollar against foreign currencies to a 40-year low. So did President Clinton and Treasury Secretary Lloyd Bentsen. But they took no specific action. Instead, they all noted the U.S. economy overall is what they call strong. On Wall Street, meanwhile, the stock market recovered a little from a sharp losing streak over the last 3 sessions.
Meet the women behind new Serenity pads.
Ordinary maxis weren't designed for light bladder control. They're just not dry enough.
So this new Serenity pad is really a breakthrough.
Oh, yeah, if you compare.
Ordinary pads stay wet. New Serenity pads have dry layer. You can see Serenity pads stay much drier, so you feel drier.
And drier feels better.
New Serenity pads for light bladder control. Better than maxi pads.
Drier protection.
Created by women for women.
My sister and I are best friends since we were girls.
And just like back then, we look out for each other. So I told her how my arthritis kept me awake some nights and how I was too worried to take anything.
She was.
But Ann, she helped. She gave me Tylenol PM. It stops the pain. It helps me sleep. And now with Tylenol PM, I'm up with the sun, fresh as a daisy.
Oh, it's so nice to have her to share my worries with. Now she'd only share her secret for growing roses.
Rest easy. It's Tylenol PM.
For those with a passion for life, there's Theragran multivitamins. Theragran has been recommended by doctors for over 30 years. So wherever you are in life, you can fully embrace it. Theragram M, for those with a passion for life.
You've heard a lot about the O.J. Simpson murder case and the 2 murder victims, but what about the other victims? What about the kids? Many children live in households where domestic violence takes place. Who's looking out for them? Eye on America investigates tomorrow on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather and Connie Chung.
President Clinton has once again tightened economic sanctions against Haiti. He signed an executive order freezing all assets held by Haitians in U.S. banks. A ban on U.S. commercial flights to Haiti is to go into effect Friday. NATO's former enemy officially became a partner in the alliance today. Russia joined NATO's, quote, Partnership for Peace, clearing the way for joint military exercises and peacekeeping operations by the former Cold War foes. U.S. Secretary of State Christopher and the Russian Foreign Minister called it an historic day. They also announced plans for a Clinton-Yeltsin summit in September. Since the Cold War ended, the U.S. government has been trying to save money by closing or cutting back dozens of military bases. So the taxpayers are saving billions of defense dollars, right? Not exactly. According to what Congress heard today about new military spending, correspondent Eric Engberg has details in this CBS Evening News Reality Check.
On Hawaii's Ford Island, where the military has already built some fine housing for service families, it wants to build $175 million more. Elsewhere on Oahu, seen as some of the country's priciest real estate, an 8,000-unit, $2.4 billion military housing project is planned. The Pentagon's own Inspector General, in a report obtained by CBS News, says no one has proved that either project is needed and both should be killed. It's part of a disturbing trend. Even as the country closes military bases, new and sometimes foolish construction is booming.
We see buildings being built that aren't necessary, investments in piers that aren't necessary, housing projects continuing that shouldn't be continued.
Paradoxically, the drive to close military bases is contributing to questionable construction. The Pentagon Inspector General audited 31 new projects the military says it needs to take the place of bases that are closing. 29 of the 31 were overpriced or improperly planned. Item: a Navy base in Hawaii where submarine hunting airplanes were based is closing, its operations moving to Washington State. There, the IG found the Navy improperly planned a $7 million new facility almost twice as large as the one it was closing. Item:
$27 million the taxpayers paid for this building.
it was called the Naval Undersea Warfare Center near Norfolk. Last summer's dedication was tainted somewhat by the fact that 2 weeks earlier, the Navy announced the center would be shut down, its operations moved to Rhode Island. The building, of course, stayed.
You can't even find out the name, rank, or serial number of who might have made those decisions or who failed to make the decision to stop that waste.
Item: Fitzsimmons Army Medical Center in Denver, scheduled to be rebuilt at a cost of $300 million. The Pentagon Inspector General says the project is not needed and not economically justified, but sources say it's being kept alive by Colorado politicians. The overall explosion in Pentagon pork, analysts warn, threatens to send a big chunk of savings from base closings straight to the emergency room. Eric Engberg, CBS News, Washington.
Michael Fay is home in America tonight. The 19-year-old who was jailed and flogged by Singaporeans for vandalism arrived in Ohio, where he'll live with his father and stepmother. He says the caning left scars on his body, but otherwise he was treated okay in prison. There is fresh medical evidence tonight that what you thought is true. You're never too old to exercise. A new study indicates that people in their 80s and 90s can get around better with regular workouts, including lifting weights with their legs. This study suggests that one reason older people have weak muscles and get too frail is because of lack of exercise. Coming up next, Eye on America. Tonight, women in prison and the children they leave behind.
The good news: diets rich in antioxidants may benefit your long-term health. The bad news: the average diet is not rich in antioxidants. Today's news: Protegra, the new antioxidant supplement that's all antioxidants. More vitamin E, vitamin C, and beta-carotene. Protegra, with more antioxidant support than you get from a regular multivitamin. To boost your antioxidant levels, even if you take a multivitamin, add Protegra to your daily routine. Protegra, the good news in antioxidants.
It's only natural that children look to their parents for answers. So to help you explain why some things that may be fine for adults aren't right for children, Anheuser-Busch offers Family Talk, free advice from professionals to use with your kids while they're still learning to be grown up. And their favorite teacher is you. Let's stop underage drinking before it starts.
This bench gets a professional finish with Krylon spray paint. No runs, no drips, no errors. Dries to the touch in minutes. The other brand's still tacky. Wow! What a game!
Good game, Mr. Euchre.
He's a lot tougher than he looks. For a fast, smooth, professional finish, get Krylon.
Any kids around there, Jane?
Oh, sorry, Billy, not your age.
A little earlier, Jane Stewart was troubled with arthritis pain, so she took a Motrin IB. The same Motrin doctors have prescribed for years, but in non-prescription strength. And just one Motrin IB is as effective as 2 regular aspirin.
All right, kid. Let's see what you got.
Aunt Jane?
Come on.
Motrin IB, the relief of Motrin in non-prescription strength. Now available in a new, easy-to-open, fast cap package.
You like food. You get heartburn. You take Maalox. Life is good.
The O.J. Simpson case may be a story of domestic violence turned deadly, but what can a battered woman do? Till death do us part. 48 hours tonight.
You hear a lot about crime these days, but there's one aspect of the problem you don't hear so much about. There are tens of thousands of women in prison, and many of them have children, some very young. Often that means a separation at a time a child most needs a mother. But there is a solution, as correspondent Richard Threlkeld reports in tonight's Eye on America.
Rikers Island is where New York City
Back to your housing area.
keeps a lot of its convicted criminals behind barbed wire. But there are also some innocent people behind the bars in a little corner of the prison painted pink. Exactly 9 of them, little boys and girls in the prison nursery. Their mothers are the inmates, most of them in for drug offenses.
See, Mommy's making a bottle right now and you fussing.
Now they're trying to kick the habit and learn to raise a family.
Nothing else mattered but the drugs. So in here, I got a chance to pull over and stop and see what's, you know, to take a look at my life and find out what I'm doing.
After 10 years, my first drug-free baby. It feels good.
Rikers Island has had this nursery for almost a decade now for women inmates convicted of nonviolent crimes who have babies or, like Maritza Vera, are about to have one.
Have you been taking your vitamins?
Yes.
She's serving a year for selling heroin. But she'll be able to live with her child here till she gets out.
When we're here, the baby's not an inmate. The baby's a visitor. So the baby gets priority. He's not a number. The baby has never done nothing.
There are only a handful of places like this in the whole country where women can keep their children while they're doing time. Most often, when a woman goes to prison, the child goes to a foster home. And more women are going to prison. 90,000 of them are now behind bars, a number that's tripled in recent years.
And according to Barbara Bloom, a criminal justice consultant, 3/4 of those women have children.
It is getting tough on crime, and it's getting tougher on women, and the result is that we're not only punishing the women, but we are also punishing their children.
Advocates for programs like this say it's no more expensive than putting children in foster care, and makes it more likely that women like Camille Barnes and her baby Carlos, who was born here, will make it on the outside when she's released.
My recovery in here is by nurturing my baby, and the chance they're giving me to nurture my baby, by being sober.
An even better solution, say prison reformers, is to take the mothers and children out of prison to a place like Houston House in the Roxbury section of Boston. Here, women inmates can serve their terms in a home setting while they learn to take care of themselves and their children.
You still think you have a right to one?
Yes, I do.
Why is that?
Because he's mine.
Because he's yours.
And I love him.
Ruth Smith, Houston House Director, says it's simple. Babies don't belong behind bars.
The prison does not offer the same kind of environment. This is as close to a home-like environment that you can get.
Congress is now considering whether to set up more programs like Houston House and the nursery at Rikers Island to ensure that more of the mothers among America's prison population can keep custody while they're in custody.
The time you do here, it's all about being with your baby and learning to love your baby.
In Rikers Island, I'm Richard Threlkeld for Eye on America.
And unfortunately, that's part of our world tonight. Coming up later on America Tonight, a new program, an exclusive interview with one of Nicole Simpson's closest friends, one of the last people to see her alive. Then I'll be back with a special 48 Hours about battered women fighting back and what you can do if you're a victim. America Tonight and then 48 Hours. America Tonight starts at 9 o'clock Eastern and Pacific, 8 Central. 48 Hours will be on 10 Eastern Time. And I hope you join us again tomorrow for the CBS Evening News. For Connie Chung, Dan Rather reporting. Good night.
Fat. For years, people have tried to hide it, stuff it, even burn it. Well, Skippy came up with a whole new idea. We cut it. Introducing new Skippy Reduced Fat Peanut Butter with 30% less fat, plus the delicious Skippy taste you crave. So now you can spread it, devour it, and just plain love it. New Skippy Reduced Fat Peanut Butter. Cut the fat, don't cut out the Skippy. Wow.
Done.
If you're cleaning mildew stains every time you turn around, you need this. Revolutionary Vanish Mildew Stain Remover with a unique dual-action formula that not only cleans on contact, it resists mildew stains longer, up to 3 weeks longer, so you don't clean as often. New Vanish Mildew Stain Remover keeps mildew stains away longer from SC Johnson Wax.
It's the Olive Garden's fresh thinking that makes exciting new dishes, like our pasta chips and dip, fresh capellini pomodoro, and Caesar salad pizza. Fresh new dishes, priced right. Right now! At the Olive Garden.
Now you can get something extra from One-A-Day. Introducing One-A-Day Extras, a line of high-quality individual supplements of vitamin C, vitamin E, an antioxidant formula, and garlic. Get your extras every day from One-A-Day.
My bladder control problem's not that bad, so I use a guard, but does it have to be so stiff?
The answer is a new guard from Attends that's incredibly soft.
Great. But what about protection?
Only the new Attends guard has perma-dry fibers that pull moisture into the core faster and trap it there to help stop spillover better.
Can I try this soft guard? Right now?
Call 1-800-ATTENDS for a free sample. The answer to protection without question.
CBS News. You've heard a lot about the O.J. Simpson murder case, but what about the children of domestic violence? Who's looking out for them? Eye on America tomorrow on the CBS Evening News. This is CBS.